This year, like never before, we've seen an enormous leap in fragrance blogging. Young people are reviewing new fragrances, talking about old-time classics, and of course, setting new trends. Massive appreciation, specifically of the North American fragrance community for sweet, dessert-like, and edible scents, has pushed the industry this year to focus on gourmand perfumes and also what I like to call fragrant fruit bombs. Today I want to try and kill two birds with one stone. Originally, my plan was to tell you about one of the newest releases from XERJOFF, Erba Gold. And of course, it will remain a headliner of this video. But I'm not going to just leave it there. Instead, I will walk you through 5 fragrances from this amazing house that perfectly fit the biggest perfume trend of this year. Because why smell like everyone else on TikTok when you can still choose a trendy fragrance that will, however, stand out? XERJOFF, just like many other brands, has its best sellers. And the first one that comes to mind is, of course, the legendary Erba Pura. This year, the brand finally made its brother, Erba Gold, publicly available. And a little note here, Erba Gold was originally launched in 2016, but it was strictly limited. And now, as both are right there in front of our eyes and noses, the debate is, how different are the two Erbas from each other? Well, it's a very valid debate because they indeed are very similar. They are essentially about a fruit blast sitting on a sweet, musky base. However, there are some significant differences, especially noticeable if you apply these fragrances on your skin. Erba Pura is much sharper and muskier, and in that sense, it might come across as a little synthetic. With Erba Pura, you will hear any fruit that I will name. I name a peach, you will smell the peach. Apple, you'll smell the apple. Some type of berry or citrus, literally, whatever I say. It gives abstract fruitiness and opens a huge space for your imagination. Erba Gold is like Pura's more elegant and less bubbly sister. It's a much rounder and smoother composition that still features a bunch of fruits, but this time in a more specific way. As per the pyramid, it's melon, pear, and green apple, and as per my nose, it's mango. Erba Gold gets to be a little bit warmer too, because of the spicy notes that it has in heart, specifically cinnamon and clove. And of course, it has a richer woody base too. Having said that, Erba Gold is much more gentle in the way it performs, as opposed to Erba Pura. It's a little bit less sweet, and it's also not as vibrant, not as loud as Erba Pura, which I've heard about Erba Pura from a few people that it might induce headache after some time of wearing it. Erba Gold and Erba Pura, in my opinion, have more or less the same target audience of people who love positive, juicy, sweet, and fruity fragrances. I would, however, recommend you to refer to Erba Gold if you prefer a fresher, airier, and less screaming version. Vanilla fragrances got some serious love this year. Bianco Latte, Pistachio Gelato, Vanilla Sex, Goddess, Accident de la Vanille. Literally, hundreds of 2023 releases were dedicated to this note. It's actually incredible that up until today, and today is December, mind you, end of year, brands continue triggering the fragrance community with new vanilla releases. One of my all-time favorite vanilla fragrances is Allende. Even though it has a vanilla at every level, at the base, in heart, and in top notes, it does not throw a vanilla cake, vanilla ice cream at you, and I personally don't find it so obviously gourmand, even though officially it is. In fact, it's a realistic smell of two beans, vanilla bean and cocoa bean. And as a result, the fragrance has this perfect, moderate amount of sweetness, and it also has a powdery, dry character. Allende is very clean vanilla. The fragrance is pure and angelic to me. I have the cutest association with this fragrance. My association is baby Cupid peacefully napping in a fluffy white cloud. A little side note, and I just realized it, I have a feeling that the vanilla DNA from Allende was also incorporated into another 2023 release from XERJOFF called White on White. It's a beautiful fragrance and I highly recommend you to try it as well. With my next XERJOFF, I want to invite you to take a step away from the dessert-like gourmand perfume trend that was essentially born among young vanilla girlies on TikTok and dive into what seems to be more solid, sophisticated, and mature version of a gourmand. Via Cavour smells like a gem made of rose petals, quince, and peaches mixed with thick, dark chocolate. It's my classic description of this fragrance. It's sweet and it's ambery with a warm, earthy patchouli nuance. Gracefully warm, velvety, and also somewhat festive, this fragrance will be amazing for colder weather. To me, it's leaning feminine, and I can perfectly imagine it on a loud and expressive Italian woman. Married into wealth, she spends her days taking care of herself, going spa, doing luxury shopping, meeting up with the girlfriends for aperols. She's carefree, she's loud, her style is noticeable from across the street, and she has this obnoxious charisma that makes her endlessly attractive for men of all ages. Clinking with her top-tier jewelry and diamonds, always vibrant, always center of attention. And she smells like this. Sweet, loud, and very expensive. I choose Naxos for this episode because it's almost like a trend inside a trend. Also one of the most discussed XERJOFFs this year, and it deserves particular attention from our male audience. You can view it as a very unique and outstanding fougere, or as an equally unique and very sparkling gourmand. I've heard both opinions, but personally cannot really agree with those who perceive it as a sweet tobacco vanilla fragrance. It's way more than that. Naxos is first and foremost about the aromatic side of a tobacco note, which sits on a cooler and semi-sweet side, and in this case it's boosted by pungent lavender and citrusy notes. On the dry down, I hear a lot of cashmeran and honey. Naxos is actually amazing because of the tricks that it plays with your perception, because as you wear it, the scent almost turns its different sides to you. At one point, it's polished, glossy, and cold. And a few minutes later, it's warm and fuzzy. Of course, 2023 trends in perfumery are not limited to vanilla, gourmands, and juicy, fruity scents. There were many others. Also, there were quite a few individual notes that received particular attention from perfumers this year. Think cherry, or the newly discovered pistachio note. What fragrances were particularly memorable for you? And how do you think XERJOFF, as a big brand, did in following trends or maybe establishing them? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget that all fragrances mentioned today can be found at Centrique.com. I'll also add links to the description. Give us the like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I can't wait to see you in the next episode.